Hey everyone, Once Bitten here with a battle report. So I had an impromptu game last Saturday. I had my 2,500 point Minotaur list with me, and really the only guy who wasn't already in a game had a 3,000 point Empire Gunline that he wanted to use. So I threw in an extra 500 points to my list, and we decided to go at it. I was really curious to see how this would go because I think shooting is the biggest weakness I have with this list. Minotaurs, I think, are very fragile for their points. And as luck would have it, we rolled meeting engagement, which makes it likely to get into combat very quickly. So I thought, thank you for that. I think if this were a battle for the pass, I don't think I'd make it halfway across the table. So I rolled to deploy first. Um, Starting at the right, you see I have a Razor Gore, a Tuskor Chariot, some Harpies, a unit of Minotaurs with my Doom Bull. And there's the specifics on the Doom Bull, but he's the same build I always take. One up rerollable, every save gives him an extra attack. You have to reroll ward saves. Anyway, another Razor Gore, big unit of Gore. I've taken off their extra hand weapons, so they are completely just naked, wearing a loincloth. My BSB's in there. He's moderately survivable and has a very cheap magic sword. And behind all that, I've got the Hearthstone Shard with a level 2 who has Lore of Beasts. And then these are all the things that rolled and weren't able to deploy. So another big unit of Gore, 5 Minotaurs, a level 4 beast with my Dispel Scroll, and a level 2 beast with Chalice of Dark Rain. And what that is, that's once per game your enemies has -1 to hit in shooting, and anything that doesn't use a ballistic skill can only shoot on a 4-up. So I added that for this game, but that's what I would have taken anyway if I were going to beef up my points. So facing me, far left Pistoliers. Then up from them, he's got a small unit of handgunners, a smallish unit of halberdiers, some more handgunners, and behind all that is a cannon. With this unit of handgunners, there's a level 2 fire mage, I think. I got confused with all his characters. He didn't have a list that I could bring with me. He's got a big old horde of halberdiers with an archlector in there. And I don't remember what that archlector had, except that I think he had like a 2-up armor save. And after that, I just really don't know. He certainly did not have the speculum, which is the only thing I really cared about because that would determine whether or not I took my Doom Bull in there. Let's see, behind them, being proxied on that tray with the 3 archers as the crew, is a Hellstorm rocket battery or the other Hell whatever war machine, and right next to it is a engineer. Up from them are some more handgunners. There's another character, and again, I don't know. It could be an engineer level 2. I thought he had 2 spellcasters. He may have had 3 spellcasters. I don't know. There's another war machine again. I think this is whatever the hell it is. No pun intended. Hellstorm rocket battery. Steam tank. Looks like there's something behind the steam tank that might be an engineer. And then another cannon. And then some more pistoliers. And he had one character that couldn't deploy. I'm pretty sure this is level 2 life. He had a Hellblaster that couldn't deploy. Another Hellstorm, I think that's what that one is. And then those 4 pistoliers that are grouped together, that's actually an Arc-Lector on a War Altar. And it's just something he's going to buy in the next couple weeks, and he's just proxying for that. So I was very, very, very happy to see both these big guns not be able to deploy. That means they're not going to be able to shoot first turn, which is just wonderful. So he vanguards. I positioned my Senegors so he couldn't vanguard around me and be out of line of sight. I can see him, not easily, but I can barely see him. And so he's quick to fire, so I'm going to charge him. He's going to get a stand and shoot, but it's as good as I can hope for. And we go to the first blurry picture, Beastmen turn 1. Very glad I was going first. I need to get my guys up in combat as quickly as possible. So I rush ahead. The only thing I did, the Harpies, I really kind of would like to fly behind his lines, but they couldn't really get there. And I didn't want to just park them elsewise. So I just flew them over here to help out charging more machines that are going to be coming on my right, I believe. These blurry pictures are going to stop very soon. So his stand and shoot only kills 1 Senegor. I was very happy to see that. So over here, that is as you can see it. And then when I entered the woods, we found out it was a venom thicket, so I had to take dangerous terrain tests. And yeah, I think I don't see the wound markers, but if I remember right, I took a wound there. So here on the left, my Razor Gore and my Chariot both charge as Pistoliers. I charged with my Chariot first. It was a longer charge. I wasn't sure I'd be able to get there, but he did the stand and shoot. I don't think he did any wounds. He may have done one wound on the Chariot. But the Chariot was likely going to fail its charge, so then I charged with the Razor Gore, and he fled off the board, which resulted in 2 failed charges. So I brought in my Horde with my Great Brave Shaman on the left, and put him in bus formation so that it kind of leapfrog them forward, get them up there faster. So they came on board, and then they walked 5 inches and are immediately right in his flank. The Minotaurs couldn't move up very far because there's nowhere else to put them. These guys were kind of blocking them, and if I had them on the right, they'd be in the river and wouldn't be able to march. So I just left him where he is there. So I really like how my left flank is looking. My only fear here is if he kills enough to may force a panic test and they run off the board, but that's a big unit of guys. I think it's going to take a lot before they have to take any panic tests. And on my next turn, I'm close enough to start charging stuff. So I like this flank. On the other flank, I think his Tim Tank's just going to tie up my Horde with my Battle Standard Bearer, and that's okay. I don't think I really need him. So overall, I'm okay with that. My level 2 that came off the board came on, and walking up was able to get in range of the Herdstone. Magic didn't do anything. In combat, just totally destroyed his Pistoliers. They ran off the table. I reformed my Senegors to face down the flank of his line. And we go to his turn. So he charges a Steam Tank in. And like I said, he doesn't really have anything to countercharge me. So what's going to happen here, my prediction and his prediction, is we're just going to sit there all game. I think I'm going to win most turns of combat, and he's unbreakable. And if he ever wins combat, I'll be stubborn 8 rerollable. So odds are what this is doing is just going to hold my unit up all game. If he had big blocks besides that one unit of Halberdiers, he could countercharge and really cause me some problems. But he doesn't. Otherwise, you can see he just kind of brought everything on. His characters and his war machines. It's kind of a mess, and a lot of stuff's proxied, but he's just beginning the army. I mean, what you going to do? He brought his War Altar on up there, and overall, it looks like that. We go to shooting. I activate the Chalice of Dark Rain, and most of his war machines either moved this turn because they came on the table, or they failed to roll a 4-up so they couldn't shoot. So he has very, very little shooting he can even do at me. So he puts 1 wound on this unit of Minotaurs that just came on the table. I think he took 2 more wounds off this unit of Minotaurs because I took 1 from dangerous terrain. And then during combat, we actually did 2 wounds on the Steam Tank. I mean, we're strength 3. We might be strength 4, whatever we are. I don't know if I got off Weiss's Wild Form, but he has a 2-up armor save and did 2 wounds on him. It was absolutely crazy. But it doesn't matter. So we go to Beastmen turn 2. This is where I want my guys in combat because then he can't shoot at me. So overall, it looks like you can see it. We'll go for some close-up shots. Here on the right, my Chariot made it into his cannon. I was very thrilled with that. My Senegors marched up. They were too far away to do anything, but they're available to charge war machines should I need it. The Harpies flew over everybody's head and made it into the other war machine there. I can't even tell from this angle which one it is. My Razor Gore charged the same one and failed his charge. I was really, really tempted to charge my Doom Bull out of the unit and put him and charge him into those Halberdiers, because those Halberdiers are going to have Hatred first turn, and their strength 4 to my toughness 4. It's just really going to hurt. And I think ultimately I'll win that, but I think it's going to cost me the whole unit of Minotaurs. But during his phase, he got Flesh to Stone off on that unit, and I figured if I took my Doom Bull in there alone, even though I'm strength 6, he's going to be toughness 5. He could issue a challenge with his Arc Collector and make it so I don't do very many wounds. I could lose combat. So I didn't want to take the chance, so I just took them all in. So I had to take dangerous terrain for everybody. I failed it with my Doom Bull, and I think I've took 2 wounds on a Minotaur just by charging into him. So at least I'm out of the damn Venom Thicket. I know that's going to be painful. I really expect to win combat. But here's what's crazy. I know he's going to be stubborn and probably, I think, a 9 because of that Arc Lector. But he didn't take a Battle Standard Bearer. which after the game, I think he said he would drop an engineer and replace it with a battle standard bearer. I think absolutely, because even if he's stubborn, for the most part, that's not good enough. So here on the left, you can see he's got some. I was charging, he was fleeing. Um, it looks like the halberdiers. I multiple charged it, and so the last one he finally decided to flee from actually pushed him. He bounced through his units to the left and went off the table. So he's got one handgunner's unit fleeing. His 20-man halberdiers are off the table. Otherwise, it's as you can see it. We go into combat here. Yeah, you can see the red marker on the left is the unit's frenzied because of the Doom Bull. The wound marker behind it means the Doom Bull has a wound, and if you look at the very top, those are 2 wound markers for the Minotaurs. And during the magic phase, you got Weissen's wild form off on that unit. I figured toughness 5 will really help against his strength 4 attacks, but miscast along the way, so my Great Brave Shaman took a wound, and I felt that was probably well worth it. After combat, you can see he really only did a few wounds to me. My guys did quite a few to him despite his +2 toughness. We won combat, he was stubborn, he stuck, and I reformed to get more attacks in. So these guys are base 3 with extra hand weapons, so it's base 4, and now they have 2 frenzied. So they're at 6 attacks each, and right now they're buffed, so they're strength 6, toughness 5. So we're going to chop through that unit pretty good. The problem is no matter what, he's going to do plenty of wounds on me. At least his hatred is gone. Over here, yeah, both the Chariot and the Harpies won their combat and overran. So the Harpies overran into that other Hellstorm, and the Chariot overran into the Engineer that was just sitting there. And over here, I mean, it's going to be the same. We're in combat. We can't wound it. He's unbreakable, and we just sit there. So Empire turn 2. You know what? There's no moving. There's nothing for him to move. His handgunners just sit there. His war machines just sit there. He did rally his handgunners. Over here, yeah, there were 2 wounds on the steam tank. During his magic phase, he cast regrowth on it. I just let it go. I figured, you know what, this thing has 10 wounds. I'm not going to get those 2 wounds off. If I'm willing just to save my dispel dice for other spells. Make sure he doesn't get another toughness buff on his halberdiers or anything like that. So the steam tank is back up to full wounds. Yeah, so then a big pie template landed on my unit of gore and killed pretty much half of them, which is actually okay. I don't need that many guys to do what I'm going to do in combat, so I don't mind losing the guys. What I mind is having to take a panic test and run away from the source of those wounds, because it would have taken me off the table. There's no reroll nearby. I'm leadership 8, and we passed it. And I was holding my breath on that one. The handgunners here shoot and kill my Razor Gore. I figure that's what he gets for failing his charge. So over here, the cannon targets the Razor Gore, hits him, easily kills him, which forces a panic test on all 3 of my units. And my Great Brave Shaman and the rest of my unit of 45 Gore run off the table. The Minotaurs, you can see they lost some models anyway. They failed their panic and ran from the nearest unit, and the Chariot ran. And so the left flank that was doing so beautifully just left because a stupid Razor Gore died. That was rough. Actually, though, that makes it an interesting game because it was about to be a very, very uninteresting game. So another blurry picture, we're locked in combat with the Stank. Over here, again, both those combats win. The Chariot overruns and is just sitting there in the middle of his guys. The Harpies restrain because they can see that war machine on the top left. So the Harpy's going to charge it. The Chariot will charge a character, whoever else is standing out there. And over here, yeah, my guys did a ton of damage. Look at his halberdiers. I mean, I think I've cut through half the unit now. He's no longer in horde formation. He reformed to go 8 wide to give himself rank so he can be steadfast as long as possible. I lost another guy, and I just kind of think I'm probably going to lose these guys. But you know what? Right now, they're at 7 attacks each. So despite losing guys, I'm not really losing attacks, for the most part. So They are chopping up. And I did decide just to go ahead and cap my Doom Bull at 10 attacks total. There seems to be some disagreement on whether or not he can go over 10 attacks, so that's fine. He starts off with 5, so he's at 6, 7, 8 attacks right now. Over here on the left, yeah, I mean, there's nothing to move really. Nothing else happened, I mean. So we go to Beastmen turn 3. Harpies charge the Hellstorm or Hellfire, whatever that thing is. My Chariot charges a character. Otherwise, they're locked in combat. The Centaurs charged something and they failed it. So there's just a close-up of that fight happening. Over here on the left, both of these units rally. And at the end of combat, yeah, he kind of tore up my Minotaur. Strength 4, Toughness 4. He just had enough attacks. He did the wounds necessary. But now his guys have to attack my Doom Bull, and I've got a 1-up rerollable, and every time I make a save, I get an extra attack. So I hate losing that big unit of Minotaurs, but I just don't need him. Now this Doom Bull is frenzied out the yang. He's 9 attacks, plus all the extra attacks, plus the stomp. He's just going to tear that unit up. And no surprise, we're tied up with a stank. I'm moving my BSB. I moved him into combat just to give a couple extra attacks. I don't know why I bother. And so over here, the Harpies, when their combat reform, the Chariot wins its combat, overruns into the Hellstorm rocket battery. His spellcaster failed a panic test. And that unit of handgunners, we forgot to take the panic test here. I don't remember why. I think his mage failed a panic test from before, or it fled a charge from from my cavalry unit. Jesus. Anyway, when his guys broke, his handgunners, when they eventually took their panic test, they fled through his lines all the way to the other side of the table. Yeah, and you'll see that in another picture. So otherwise, for the most part, it looks like that. Empire turn 3. You see we haven't taken that panic test yet. We did it retroactively. So anyway, he turns his War Altar. Otherwise, what's he going to do? There's nothing to move. There we go. There's the failed panic test. The handgunners running through everybody. So overall, it looks like that. He shoots, and I'm down to 1 Minotaur, and then another one with just 1 wound. The Chariot now has 3 wounds. I really don't care. I don't need these points, and these units aren't going to do anything for the fighting. We're stuck in combat with the stank. And yeah, my Doom Bull just chewed up the unit. There was no overrun because there was nobody left to flee. He just killed him outright. And then he just turned to face the War Altar. So we go to Beastmen turn 4. I'm moving my mages away from the Hearthstone because they need to be close enough to cast certain spells. Anyway, it is as you can see. You can see my Chariot that I said was out of the combat. I guess I lied. It was close enough. He could charge the flank of a Halberdier unit. I think he had to roll a 10, so he's kind of lucky to get in there. So these are these guys moving up. Here at the top, you can see basically I was charging stuff. He was fleeing, and he either fled away or he got caught. But basically he has nothing on that whole, all his war machines, all his engineers, all his spellcasters, they're all dead or fleeing. Yeah, I take that back. They're all dead. I got to the flank of the 1 unit of handgunners, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to win that. There we go. So my only concern here is the War Altar is normally pretty hard to kill. But it's hard to kill if you don't have D3 impact hits, 9 attacks, re-rolling to hit, and then every wound at strength 6, and then every wound you have to re-roll failed ward saves. So I'm actually pretty confident with my Doom Bull's ability to take out a War Altar. And yeah, it went something like that. So the Chariot went to the flank of the handgunners, beat him, ran him down. His Arc Lector is now on foot, and he has no chance whatsoever against my Doom Bull. Yeah, that is not looking good for you, Arc Lector. Over here, he actually has 4 wounds on his steam tank now. Just crazy. I don't even know how I'm getting that many on him. During his phase, he rolls for steam points and rolls too high, so he takes another wound. Otherwise, I mean, what's he going to do? He has a unit of handgunners. A wizard rallied. He still has his cannon. Yeah. So during shooting, he actually puts a cannon through one of my Minotaurs, and I think he's hoping to kill one. It would flee and then maybe just flee off the table, but he hit one. It only had one wound, but he only rolled a one to wound. So, so those Minotaurs got kind of lucky. Um, my my Doombolt absolutely chopped through his Arc Lector. It wasn't even close. He's maxed out at 10 attacks. He just reforms to face these handgunners. They failed their panic, so they're running. So I charged my Doombolt at him to push him towards my Minotaurs. They charged him to push him back towards the middle of the table. My level 2 near the Herdstone charged him to push him back towards my Doombull, who easily caught them. So it's a fun little twist. I just want to make sure I got him because I wanted to come as close to tabling the gun line as I could. So it looks like that. And of course we're still locked up in there. And there's that. I don't know if he still had his cannon or not. I think my chariot was able to charge his cannon, killed it. So the only thing he had left on the table was a steam tank, and I mean I had plenty after that to have a pretty easy win. So it was an interesting game against a gunline list. I mean the player's very new. I totally disagree with his build. I think a gunline that extreme, if it works, isn't fun for anybody. I mean, there was no movement. There was no trying to maneuver and get good counter. There was just he's going to just shoot at me. And thank goodness we had meeting engagement so I could rush up on him before he could do too much of that shooting. So so that was it. Doombull takes care of the gunline. Hope you enjoyed it.